It's a ruling that's stirring a divided reaction.
It is deeply disturbing because it undermines and puts our democracy at risk.
In a 5-4 vote, the Supreme Court today struck down a key part of the Voting Rights Act of 1965. The landmark legislation was aimed at fighting discrimination at the polls. The law applies to these states and counties that have a history of racial discrimination against minority voters. Section 4 of the Voting Rights Act required these states to get federal permission before changing any of their voting laws. But according to Chief Justice John Roberts, who wrote the decision, that part of the law is outdated. He says coverage today is based on decades-old data and eradicated practices, and voter registration and turnout numbers in the covered states have risen dramatically in the years since. Civil rights activists outside the Supreme Court say the decision is devastating.
This decision is a betrayal of the American people, that there is nothing more critical than making sure that the highest court of our land gets it right.
Bipartisan Congress several times has recognized that we as a nation are better when all of us, white, black, and every color and every ethnicity, are part of the political process.
Congress most recently renewed the voting rights law in 2006. The Supreme Court decision now sends the case back to Congress for review.
Congress, in this moment, must take this seriously, must seize this opportunity to, together in a bipartisan way, seek to reenact a measure that will protect the voting rights of those voters who have been vulnerable.
Chief Justice Roberts used census data to show that the racial gap in voter turnout has decreased dramatically. For example, in Alabama, the gap shrank from 49.9% in 1965 to less than 1% in 2004. But according to Justice Ruth Ginsburg, who wrote the dissenting opinion, the court is ignoring history, a sentiment shared by activists outside the court.
This truly outrageous and disgraceful decision of today.
Well, civil rights activists see today's decision as judicial overreach, citing decisions by lawmakers and presidents to renew the law time and time again. Now the future of the law is uncertain as it's up to a divided Congress to figure out what comes next. In front of the Supreme Court, Liz Wall, RT.